Good morning.
Hello, listeners.
Oh yeah, we gotta get Dusty to record one of those too.
Yep.
The bump.
Hello, listeners. You're listening to Distracted Discourse, and this is Tommy Ryman. Enjoy.
Here we go!
All right, we're back again.
We're back.
Okay.
With new equipment and new helmets.
Exactly.
In case you're watching the live video screen and you're checking us out on Ustream, you can see that we are wearing some hardcore, awesome helmets. You can kind of see mine right now. I got some horns up here too.
I'll be putting mine on.
It's very Vikings-esque as well. It's like some sort of. I think this might help the Vikings win today. I'm really feeling it. I'm feeling that this maybe me wearing this is somehow good mojo.
Maybe I should when I put mine on with the jersey.
Oh, that's true. You got the jersey.
I got
maybe
the jersey and then
idea.
that. So,
but this is like the only one that fits my big Jew head. All right, before we go anywhere, let's introduce our guest.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Dusty Thune on our show. Dusty?
Good morning.
Oh, listen to that voice.
just a voice for radio.
It's
perfect.
amazing. And a face for one, too, huh?
That's
There it is. Dusty is a local filmmaker, prop master, mad scientist, snow carver.
Celebrity.
Jeez, I mean, pick something, right? I
G-list
mean,
celebrity.
this guy does it all. And I thought it'd be really great to have him on the show, not only to chat about some of the prop making and some of that stuff, but Dusty was just recently involved in a really cool project called Underland. Dusty, feel free to talk about that a little bit. Let us know how that's going.
Alrighty. Well, Underland is something a little bit different than what people are normally seeing in the film community. I work with special education students as a teacher in St. Paul Public Schools.
So does my wife.
Super awesome.
Right on.
She does, yeah.
She's already a good person.
Yes, thank you.
She already has karma credit from us.
Yep, that works out. My wife and I have been also connected with something called the Highland Friendship Club for the last 12 years. And it's a social group for young adults with disabilities to get out and have some fun on their own without having to just go to a baseball game from their siblings or hang out at a parents' church meeting or something. They have their own entertainment. And with the Highland Friendship Club, our membership has just soared over the years from starting with about 4 participants about 12 years ago to now having around 300. And so we've had to add a lot of programs to that club to make sure that there's a lot of fun things for people to do. Mm-hmm. One of those programs was the Movie Magic program. We decided to just try our hand at using some flip cams and making some movies.
Yeah.
So that was about 5 years ago we started doing that, and we just started progressing, making bigger and better things and being ambitious all the way. And the last 2 years, we've been doing something called Underland. It's a totally original script, original characters. Everything's written, kind of about the actors, and all the actors have disabilities. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of a fantasy landscape where way back in the 1900s, a rift was torn in the fabric of time by a crazy mad scientist named Nigel Chestworth.
Such as yourself.
That's right.
Nigel Chestworth.
Nigel Chestworth at your service.
It's very British.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so he sent this time machine with his time-traveling raccoon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I follow.
I'm glad you're following
Yes.
still. Right on.
I have to put the hat on now.
Yep, it helps.
All right. I'm all
You're coming into Underland.
I'm 100% in. I'm all in.
Join into Underland. We have another buffalo helmet.
I'm afraid I'm going to wreck it.
Oh, you can't wreck it. Don't worry.
Possible.
Oh, yeah.
I make everything bomb-proof.
It feels like it's going to fall off my head. All right, there we go.
Taking a picture of that.
All right.
Looking cute. Oh, now you look. You give that Vikings jersey a fierce look.
Yeah, you do.
That's good. They should probably wear that on the field. It might actually help
Yes,
them out.
exactly.
Anyway, with Underland, the time traveling raccoon and the time machine gonna rip this hole in the fabric of time, made a parallel universe, the same as our own.
Yep.
Only the people that were around the time machine got a little freaked out. Didn't want anything to change. They were afraid of anything new, and they didn't want anything with technology anywhere near them. They wanted to stay with status quo. And so anything different, anyone with a different idea or a disability got sent to a place called Underland.
Okay.
It's kind of like Minneapolis.
Yeah, exactly.
St. Paul just sends all their trash out.
It's like our neighborhood that we're in right now.
And so in Underland, they had to kind of strive and fend for themselves, really, and live with each other. And so they also were forced to wear masks to show off their disability, which is what we're wearing right now, our helmets and masks.
Okay.
And so a lot of these people would form clans of people that had similar disabilities. And so you're the Wolf Clan over there.
Okay.
Congratulations, you're the Coyote Clan.
Cool.
Horny coyote.
Horny coyote.
Yeah.
I've been described as a horny coyote before, actually.
Lost connection again.
Why did we do that?
That's all right. We'll keep going.
Sometimes when you wear a mask like this, you just get too manly.
That's right. I think that's what's going on.
Burn something
Ustream's
out.
like, we can't handle this.
No.
Do we have computers hooked up to the network
No,
again?
just my phone. I just turned off the Wi-Fi.
We got to upgrade our
We should be
internet
good.
speed.
Yeah. All right. Which clan are you? Are you the Squid Clan?
Yeah, maritime something.
Maritime.
Pirates.
Some
There's lots of
kind
pirates.
Right.
Yeah, so Underland's just such a crazy mashup because everyone gets to, figure out what's their favorite power animal.
Okay.
And with the Friendship Club, I also teach a self-advocacy class, and we talk about power animals and how can you rise above all the names you're being called, and how can you overcome bullying.
Right.
And so a lot of the kids will have these great background stories that will weave right into the Underland story. And since it's a series, we get to go off in 100 different ways.
Sure.
And we can hint at them. For the first 2 episodes right now, we're kind of hinted at a bunch of different ways we want to offshoot. Because in the future, we want to make this thing into a larger series and get picked up by a large company. Hear that, corporations? We need help.
Hey, guys, call Dusty over here.
So how long has this been going on then, as far as this project goes?
Underland, this is the 2nd year.
Okay.
And we're hoping to make it much longer than that.
I feel like this is going to fall off my head. Do you mind if I set it down just for a minute?
Fine.
Okay.
We're judging you, but
I know, exactly.
Matt, gross. You're not in the Wolf Clan anymore?
No, I am. I am in
he's
spirit.
rejected Wolf
It just
Clan.
I have a big head too.
Yeah.
So when I put it on there, it
Makes it
looks
bigger.
like it's going to
Shakes.
fall off. I don't want to. That's the last thing I want to do is
notice Matt has the lightest of the helmets.
Yeah, right? Now, this thing is fucking 90 pounds, and I'm just fine. But Matt's a pussy, so he's got to make a problem out of everything.
So you've been involved in this for 2 years, and are these episodes that you've been doing, are they available? Like, can people download them online, or is it available on iTunes or something like that?
Underland 1 will be available online very soon.
Nice.
Underland 2 just premiered September 14th at the O'Shaughnessy.
Okay.
And so we had a great crowd for that. Greg, of course, ditched us. He was on his way back from somewhere else.
I came to the first year, and it was the coolest experience ever, man. They had, like, a red carpet, and all of the actors pulled up in, like, limos, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
I mean, it was the coolest thing. And
you guys do it up?
Oh, we totally do it.
It was a packed house. I mean, it was awesome, and the film was great, and man, it was a really cool experience to be a part of that. And Dusty was wearing this awesome white tuxedo and interviewing people on the red carpet. It was pretty great.
I got to be pretty. That's important.
Dusty rocks the hell out of a white tuxedo.
You know who Dusty looks like?
Who?
Our old sponsor, Ray.
Really?
You look exactly like Ray.
Was he a pimp?
He's an artist.
Oh,
He's a
that's good.
PIMP.
We were sponsoring, or he was sponsoring our show, and then we were giving discounts on the artwork.
I love that.
You look
that was
exactly
your-
like Ray. It's like sitting across from Ray. It's
I
weird.
love that. I love that was your first question. Is he a pimp?
Well, I thought it was like Fancy Ray.
Is he one of? Oh,
Yeah,
my God,
that's
Fancy
true.
Ray. You know
Fancy Ray
Fancy?
Taylor.
Oh, who doesn't know Fancy?
I saw Fancy on Thursday.
Really?
He was auditioning. I went and auditioned for the Minnesota Timberwolves like in arena host. They were having auditions for that, and Fancy Ray showed up and auditioned. Of course he did.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine Fancy Ray.
Oh my god.
My. Look at that 3-pointer. That's right. I am the best looking man in comedy. I'm a human chocolate orchid.
I often refer to myself as that. That's good.
The human chocolate orchid?
Yeah.
Doesn't hold as much weight.
Not too much.
Well, it's just the chocolate part is what confuses. The human white chocolate orchid.
That's right.
So, okay, so you've been doing this now. It's been going on for 2 years.
Yeah, just Underland has been 2 years. Movie Magic's for 5.
Wow.
So we started off with something really fun. We had the kids, right? I call them kids. They're young adults. I'm sorry if anyone's offended with that.
Dude, I coach high school and I call them kids, and I'm only like 4 years older than they are.
I'm wearing an Adrian Peterson jersey. So
Oh, yeah, so we can't talk about kids around you. You get upset. God knows
Matt
what
brought a
happened.
Switch.
yeah, to my truck just in case anyone gets out of line.
No, we started out with the kids coming up with their favorite fantasies. Like, who's your favorite character? Who's your favorite actor? Who's your favorite superhero?
Yeah.
And then we'd mesh all those superheroes and characters together into some discombobulated story tale that, is just like a dream sequence. Really.
Right.
You really don't know where it's going to go, but it's fun to watch, and you're kind of entertained throughout the whole thing.
Sure.
And at the end, you're confused, and that's when we prey upon you to take out your wallet and give us money for your program.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And so the first 2 years of that, we had Romancing the Force, which was Darth Vader falling in love with Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
Yes.
And then they both found out that they had dual identities.
Oh, jeez. There's
Yes.
the plot twist.
That makes it rough,
M. Night Shyamalan plot
Yep.
twist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Darth Vader turns out to be one of the Jonas brothers, Joe Jonas.
Oh, of course.
And,
well, I couldn't imagine being any
Straight
of
from
the
the,
other Jonas
straight
brothers.
from
Yeah,
the
it's
usual
tough.
suspects.
Clearly not Nick Jonas. I
Oh,
mean,
no. And then, of course, they have the fight for the love of Miley Cyrus with Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer happens to be
Joe Mauer.
He's quite the supporter of Friendship Club, so
good.
we're in tight with the Mauers.
Did he
That's pretty
come
fun.
and like be in the film thing?
He had a stunt double,
Oh, you?
much better looking stunt double.
Yeah, he was
I
way
would say.
better.
Yeah.
Makes more money,
Your sideburns are so much better.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
they connect to your beard.
Yep.
Joe Mauer don't have no beard.
No.
No, if he did, maybe he'd make more connections with the bad.
I
Could
agree.
be. Do you watch
Talk to you about
the
that.
Twins? I
I
haven't
try
watched a single game.
I
this
try
year.
to watch a little bit.
Okay.
I can never make it past maybe 2 innings when I'm actually there.
Yeah,
Usually it's a hot dog, a beer, bathroom, and then the light rail.
and then get
Right.
the fuck
Yeah.
out. Oh, that's when you're even there.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't watch it on TV.
I
that's
find
just torture.
baseball to be super hard to watch on TV.
Yeah, it can be. There was a couple years where I was pretty into the Twins. Where I'm
Yeah?
like, all right, and I would watch a lot of the games. Like,
Can you imagine being a Cubs fan?
Oh, I'd be terrified.
It'd be ridiculous. Well, I mean, it's like being a Vikings fan. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much. But no, I don't think I haven't been to a fucking game this year yet. Not one.
a Twins game or what?
Yeah, just anything. But Twins in general, I haven't been to a game yet.
They are fun to go to.
They are.
I take
Well, the
students
stadium
there.
kind of makes it. I feel.
Yeah,
like.
the stadium really is the big deal, and it's so disheartening when you're there. And I'm a big fan of pine trees.
Yeah.
Just from growing up here. And when they took out those pine trees, I figured the stadium just lost something, and the Twins really lost something
Right.
too.
Hey, Matt, I
They
think
have
we
pine
got a
trees?
call.
Yeah, they
Oh.
used to have a whole line.
Who is this?
I think it's Shane. Hello, is this Shane?
Yeah, this is Shane. What's up, man?
Hey, Shane. Thanks for
Hey,
calling the
we
show.
got a call.
Yes.
Shane, you're not wearing a helmet. You can't really be on the show. We got some awesome helmets right now. I don't know if you
Oh.
can tell. We got these really great helmets.
You know what? All I'm getting ready for is the Steeler game. So,
Oh, okay.
Shane, do you have
I see.
a pet at home?
yes,
What kind of pet do you have, Shane?
I have a dog.
Can you put that dog on top of your head right now?
Yeah, just like and then take his legs and tie him around your neck, and with the other leg,
Loosely,
see if you,
loosely.
yeah, loosely. I mean, you don't want to hurt him. And then with the other
Yeah,
legs,
we don't want to do that.
right, and see if you can get the front paws to just sort of stick straight up, kind of like horns, and then we'll be good to go.
Any up and down movement from the dog on your head is also acceptable.
Yes, absolutely acceptable.
I'll make note of that right now.
Please do.
Shane, I'm glad this finally worked out. I know that we've been in contact here for has it been almost a year?
Yeah, I think it really has been almost a year.
Nice.
really.
It's crazy because we were gonna have you call in a while back, and then something or another didn't work out, and then the show wasn't going anymore, and then we just started to show up again, and then we had to flip a schedule today. So I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Finally.
This is cool, See what you guys want to talk about. It's been busy for me because I just found out that I'm going to be a dad.
Nice.
Oh, hey, congratulations. When you have the baby,
it's
put
scary.
the baby on your
I'm
head.
still trying to figure out what my kids are going to look like. That's what's scaring me to death.
What's it going to
Literally.
look like? Well, lucky for
Because-
you, we actually have a father on the show. So ask any fatherly questions of Dusty Thune. He's got a lot of experience. Well, how many years of experience do you have now?
5 3/4 years.
5 3/4 years of
I
experience.
have kept my child alive. I am now an expert.
Me, it's just crazy because people are always asking, my wife and I, like, we want to know what your kids are going to look like because my wife is Korean
Oh.
and I'm Irish and Hungarian.
There's not a
And-
whole lot of hope for.
Yeah, I'm just like, wait a minute. If you're thinking I'm going to birth the next savior, you are sadly mistaken, okay? This
Well, you never know.
My sperm's running around inside like a dog chasing its tail, okay? we got nothing. The family photos for us, I'm trying to tell my family, it's probably going to look like the end scene of Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks.
Possibly.
Because
You think you're going to give
it
birth
is-
to an Ewok? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Ewok. I mean, I'm hairy. I'm not kidding you.
Oh,
I'm like
I
a
see.
grizzly bear, and then, my poor child's going to come out looking like a Care Bear on meth.
Well, Shane,
You
let me
know?
tell you something. You have 2 things going for you right now.
Body hair.
Body hair, of course.
Yes.
Are you in a northern climate?
What's that?
Are you in a northern climate? Where are you coming
Yeah.
calling from? Well, perfect. All right. So in the winter, of course, you won't have to invest in many of the Baby Bjorn carriers or anything. The child will actually latch onto your back hair, much like a small claw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I like about you guys now. You're giving me hope here. I like this.
It's really interesting. They just entwine their fingers in the back hair, just like a little spider monkey, and there's really no
While
getting
the
them off.
dog
You'll
gets
even
around
forget that the
on
child
my
is
head,
there.
Oh
right?
yeah,
We're gonna do that,
absolutely.
too.
I mean, who needs a backpack when you have a back hair?
You just sit down for a nice beer on your couch and realize you've been sitting on your child for 2 hours.
Exactly. People are going to go, "Oh, wow, look at those cute little hamsters on you." No, those are my
Right.
children.
Right.
So so you just found out. So how long to you become the father or an actual?
Well, they said
your father.
9
we were
months?
trying-
Well,
It's
no
like
shit,
March
but I mean-
15th, I think it's going to be. March 15th.
Hey, that's
March
a good day.
15th, hey.
3 days
Yeah.
after I came to America.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be great.
And you're part
it's
Irish,
so
you
close
say?
to St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
What's that?
You're part Irish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
That's
There you
not
go.
bad.
That's not bad at all.
Better than Christmas. Better
Yeah.
than Christmas at my
No, man, that's great. So okay, so
You should tell your wife just to hang
So
out.
yeah,
for
I was
another
gonna say
2 days.
backstory. Now you're married to this
Patrick's
woman
Day.
who is now carrying your child.
Yes.
Okay, and was
Okay.
this child like a let's have a child, or was this child like a why we're having
Oh,
a child?
Let's have a child.
It was like, what? We're having a what?
Oh, okay.
We did not practice. Did we? I mean, we practiced.
Well, hopefully you practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you didn't,
Well, it
then
was
there's
I was practicing long
there's a
before.
test
I'm like,
for
let's
that.
practice some more. Let's see what happens. But I did not think it was actually going to work. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the wrong hole happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you
but
really
you know
pulling
what?
out doesn't
That's
work
probably
anymore.
why.
So
Got a lot of belly buttons calling me
Lot.
dad.
was it?
Belly buttons. Yeah, it's like, Doc, that's not where. Oh, okay. Well, let's try this again. Let's practice some more.
Was it something that you and your wife talked about? Like before, or a possibility or something
or
like that?
ever,
Ever?
or
Yeah, it was. I think we talked about it, and it was one of those things where we're just like, okay, if it happens, we'll be ready. But then I think when the other family members started when are you guys going to have a baby? When are you guys going to have a baby?
sure.
It's just it was so annoying, and then we were just like, here, shut up now. Look, here's your gift. Merry Christmas.
Eventually,
Yeah.
you had a baby out of spite. Yeah, fuck you guys.
Like, here
We got
you
a
go.
fucking baby now.
Now?
And everyone's just disappointed.
That's why everyone's been
they're like,
having babies is out of spite.
Spite babies.
Spite babies.
I went through a very similar situation with the grandparents always bugging us to get a baby going on, and I'm the only one of my siblings to have a kid, and so I made all of the grandparents sign a little waiver saying that they were actually going to take this child that they've been wanting for so long and babysit this child, so that I
Yes.
knew that I would at least have maybe a week, a year where I'd have some free time.
Yeah.
So
See,
make
that's
sure you
smart.
get that
I
in
mean,
writing.
That's how I am. I'm
it's
the
really
first
important.
One of my brothers to actually have a child.
And
so
you
now
could be the
I
only one.
set
You
the
never
bar
know.
up. Now it's on them. It's like, okay, they're off my back.
That's what you'd think, but
Take
it actually
away,
it just
guys.
turns it up, man. It just turns it up. You're gonna have more pressure. So make sure you get that in writing. That'll off-put them a little bit, and then they'll deflect.
Yeah, it's like, can you please sign this here?
And here.
Signature here, and
Initial.
here.
See if you can get some sort of like see if you can
Incentives?
get some sort of like wage garnishment off of their
yeah.
wage or like off of their like retirement
Trust fund?
whatever.
There you go.
Yeah, see if you can do
I'm
something
gonna
like
have to
that.
hire you guys. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna make up
Well,
this
you're-
law firm and have you guys just give
gonna
me
have
The
the
Thomas Thune Berman law firm. The only part of that really makes sense is the Berman because it's the only Jewish last name, and every law firm's got to have a Jew last name.
We'd have a lot of clients at
Exactly.
least. You know, they trust you. So
We'll take out Thune. Thune's not all that Jewish.
No.
Thune's really lowering the
Far-
value of the
Farley-
law firm.
Too Norwegian. For
Yes.
So, Shane, you're a stand-up comedian, is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Nice. How
Been
long you
doing
been-
it for about going on 6 years now.
Wow.
So.
About as long as I have.
You and Greg are tied.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't traveled like real far. Like, I want to go to New York and all over, but being from around the Pittsburgh area, it's been awesome. I mean, there's no shortage of comedy clubs, and I got to work with. I got lucky and got into doing call-ins for radio, and
Nice.
and I enjoyed doing that, and just going to do stand-up has been amazing. So.
And being in Pittsburgh, you have a lot of people that need cheering up.
Yes.
Yeah, and it seems like I don't know if it's just
City.
Pittsburgh, but it seems like no matter what sport is going on, they say, what would be a great time to do stand-up comedy is right in the middle of a sporting event at a sports bar.
Oh.
And, yeah, and
God,
nobody
that sounds awful.
cares. And they think it's all a great idea, and I've done so many sports clubs and bars, and they don't welcome you with open arms during the game, even if we're sucking. So they say, hey, here's a learning experience for you comics. Fit right in here.
That sounds terrible. I mean, I'll be
Oh, it
honest
is.
with you. That's the last thing that people want to do or hear when they're in the middle of a sporting event.
Well, yeah.
Or just at a bar, just hanging out, when they're watching the game or whatever. I mean, that's
And nobody, like, they find the places. I know when I first started going stand-up, I had just done in Pittsburgh, it was the Funny Bone Comedy Club, and I was feeling good, and they said, Shane, we got you a show. It's at this one bar, and we're going to fit you in at halftime.
Oh, no.
And I was like, okay, this is a good idea. Let's do this. Yeah, I'm going to kick ass.
ugh.
And
No, you're
I
not.
was thinking
Not
everybody
kicking
wants to
ass.
pay attention to me, and they had no clue what I was even doing there. And one guy, when I was walking by, said, hey, on your way through, can you get us another round of beers?
Oh, God.
And I'm like, I'm not the waiter, I'm the comedian. And it was just the worst thing I could have said to this guy. And it was just so bad. I even tried at one point taking orders, just trying to get him to like me
Just to
again.
mix
it
it
was,
up.
yeah, it was.
That was a bad idea because you were never going to deliver on those orders. So really, you just
Or your
made it
punchlines.
worse. Yeah, or your punchlines at that point.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, geez, what about these chicken wings, guys? And they're like, get out of here. We don't
Coming
like
right
it. And
up.
it was tough because there was a bunch
Pittsburgh.
of comics that we were just like, what are we doing here? And for a while, that's the kind of place I was doing, like biker bars and different
man, you're
clubs.
talking
So I was
about
like,
everybody.
If I got to make it somewhere.
Every
and see how
comic went
funny
through
I
that.
am.
It's like doing.
Let's see.
It's like when they do comedy at like concerts,
Dude, one
like
time
beforehand. That's a weird
Dude,
fucking.
one
thing,
time
too.
I did. I opened. I wasn't doing comedy. This is before I started comedy. I was doing magic at this point. Still, I was a magician for a while, and I opened for an amateur wrestling show. Like I'm talking I mean like a wrestling like those guys like WWE, but like
Yeah.
amateur.
Yeah.
So amateur professional, I guess. And those guys like took themselves so seriously. And so I'm fucking 17 years old, wearing dress pants and a quarter zip like sweater with like a nice green tie, and I'm standing in the middle of a ring, like a wrestling ring, in the basement of a bar in Burnsville. And I'm trying to do magic for a bunch of drunk, like fucking middle-aged hillbillies yelling.
this guy up
it was the worst possible. I really don't even remember how the show went because I have chosen to block it from my memory.
Nice
I don't blame you. You're like abracadabra.
It was
I'm
the
gonna
worst.
party, son.
And-
What are you
and
doing?
so
You're
they had this,
I'm
like,
gonna
little
pull a rabbit
area.
out of my hat.
they had this little area like sort of like there's like drapes around it, which is kind of the green room for the wrestlers. And so I'm back there, and there's all these monstrous men and these scantily dressed women, and they're all oiling themselves up, and I'm just standing there like folding up handkerchiefs and shoving them in my pockets. Like, it was just I've never felt more ridiculous in my life. And then finally they're like, and now please welcome Greg Berman, and I just like very clumsily get onto the stage through the ropes. Like, it was just the worst thing I could have done.
Oh, you had to go through that's the stage was in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, dude, it was right in the middle of the ring. It was just the worst. It was like no one was paying attention. Everyone, because I didn't know this. Like, I'd never really seen a amateur professional like wrestling show.
Yeah.
I didn't know that people kind of go there for blood. I mean, everyone's like, yeah, fucking cut his head off, like that kind of shit. And the wrestlers totally play to that. Like, there's one guy, and I'm trying to get him on the show. I think he's going to come either next Thursday or 2 weeks from now. His name is Scott Brault, but he goes by The Brawler. The Brawler is awesome. I love The Brawler. But he's but he always plays like he plays the asshole on stage because they all have these characters, right? And so he plays this asshole. So he always looks out at the crowd and goes, "Shove it up your pie holes," and shit like that. Like, he yells at them. And he was wrestling this guy named Horace the Psychopath.
Yeah, he's still around.
And
Horace the Psychopath was in WCW back in the day.
Was he?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's the same guy.
It is.
You really?
Oh,
He
He's
also
from
did
Minnesota?
the choir at St. Valentine's.
Horace the Psychopath was, he actually ran a nice little kids show on TPT for a while. Anyway, well, that's awesome.
It's just so crazy for comics. I mean, it really is. Like,
today.
if you sit down and you ask a comic, like, where have you performed? I think a lot of people think, like, comedians get to perform at all these, like, really cool places, and it's a fun time. Every show, and like, I've performed in the back of like pizza, like the back of Pizza Hut.
Greg's done that too.
You're not alone, man. I've done all that stuff. I performed for a high school prom lock-in before too.
Oh my God! What is? Well,
I just want to get the fuck out of there, and they got to sit through that.
I was at. They booked me. This guy, he says, "Hey, I got a show for you. I have one more spot. We want you to come and do this show." And I say no. I don't say no to anything. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I'll go. We'll have a good show. And it was at a all-black club.
The Apollo?
And I walked in, and it was like that scene from Animal House.
Yeah.
And they just, like, turned
that
me.
One scene.
And I'm like,
mind if we dance with your dates?
From the whole movie, that one scene from Animal House.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, man, this is going to be a great show. Everybody, like, bombed. Everybody, and I had just enough to where I was getting through, and this one guy came up to me, and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "I got to tell you,
Just
you
enough Colt
were
45s.
hilarious." And I heard something drop, and I thought it was his phone.
Was
he
it your
pulled
testicle?
up his gun, and he's still waving it at me.
Oh,
And he's
geez.
like,
What?
"You were hilarious. What's your
Jesus.
name?" And then he looked in his hand. He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. Did I scare you?"
Yeah, you just whipped out a
I'm
gun.
like,
Started
cleaning
waving it
the
around.
shit out of my pants.
Dude,
And
I've
I'm
actually,
like, oh wow, that was a great show for $10 I got.
I've actually done something like
The free
that.
chicken
There
wings.
was this one time, me and my friend Peter Ingalls, who was like an aspiring musician, and I was doing comedy. This is my senior year of high school, and Peter caught wind of some sort of talent show they were having in Minneapolis. And the word Apollo was in there somewhere, but we didn't put two and two together. And so we like hauled ass to this talent show, and it was in this like theater, and it was very clearly an all black like talent show. But they didn't vet us, and so we show up, and he's got his little guitar, and I've got my little comedy notebook, and they're like, "All right, you guys are last." And so. Because we got there like just in time.
Oh man!
So my friend goes up, and no, wait, I think I went up first, and I performed for this room full of black people, which is fine because I've done that before. Like, I mean, I feel like my comedy is fairly universal, and so I did okay. I didn't like die on stage, but I did okay. But it was funny because I knew that the next performer that they were going to see, and the last performer of the night, was going to be my friend, this tiny little white dude singing sad songs about high school relationships. That was just not. There was no way it was gonna work. And so I just remember passing him because I'm leaving the stage and he's on his way up, and they were holding him in a room where he couldn't see what I was performing, so he didn't know what he was like about to walk into.
He had no clue what he was
And I just,
walking
as I'm
into.
walking past him, I'm just like, dude, good luck. I just
Got a little
had this
ukulele.
grave look on my face, and I remember the confusion in his face until he stepped foot on stage, and I remember seeing his eyes go like huge, and he was like, shit. I think he knew exactly what had happened, like at the moment he got on stage.
He had
Super
those
funny.
Mike Tomlin eyes, the ones where it
Yes.
looked like those big crazy eyes, looked like he was having a panic attack through him. And he's, "You're doing great. Just keep playing. They love you."
Well, hey, Shane, appreciate
Thanks for calling in, buddy.
calling in. What are some I don't know how many listeners we have in the Pittsburgh area, but I know you're on Twitter as well. What's your Twitter handle again?
It's just Dolan Comedy.
Okay.
At,
Dolan
Dolan Comedy, yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
And on Facebook, and just look under Shane Dolan Comedian. I'll have all my shows posted up.
Nice.
And where I'm going to be at next.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, hey, man.
Thanks for calling,
thanks
buddy.
for calling in. I'm glad this
It was nice to meet you. It was
finally
so cool
worked
to
out.
have you, and keep listening to the show. I like knowing that we got some fans out there. Matt told me
definitely,
today when
man.
I came in, and he was like, "Hey, we got a guy that really likes our show, wants to come on. His name is Shane Dolan." I was like, "Oh, cool! I'd never heard of this guy, so let's bring him on." So
Yeah, it always works
Yeah,
out. So.
thank you guys for having me, man. I'll keep listening, and
Absolutely.
you guys take care, and I hope to talk to you again sometime soon.
Oh,
Sounds
sure,
good.
yeah, we'd love to have you back. All right,
Appreciate
buddy.
it. Thanks, Shane.
See you.
All right, take care.
Yep, you too. Shane Dolan, everyone. Thanks
Shane Dolan.
Thanks for calling in.
Dolan.
Yeah, I mean, literally,
Hi.
it's no lie. I mean, he was trying to get in touch with us. I mean, this is close to a year ago already.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it finally
hey,
worked out today.
the tenacity is what I respect.
Yeah, and we we were gonna try to get him on. I think like last weekend, but that was Tommy was already booked on there beforehand, and it all worked out today. So yeah, check him out on Twitter, Shane Dolan.
Oh,
And
you know
also-
what? I do want to make a quick shout out to a friend of mine so this guy, his name is Nicholas Ogor, and I might be totally mispronouncing that because I'm not sure. But this guy runs a fantasy football podcast, and I was on it last year. I think, Matt, I told you about this. So this guy runs a really awesome fantasy football podcast. This guy is a fantasy guru. I mean, right now I have 4 leagues that I'm in, 4 fantasy leagues, and I'm undefeated in 2 of them, and 2 of them I'm 2-1. And
Nice.
pretty much all thanks to Nick, because he helped me draft the entire he helped me draft, and today I texted him this morning and I was like, hey, should I play Shane Vereen or should I play Chris Ivory? And he just go Ivory, and he gave me all these he's like, the guy's average is 5.8 yards per carry, and he's better than CJ2K and the Pats offense. He's just got it. He just knows all this stuff.
Okay.
He does all the research. So I absolutely recommend listening to his podcast. It's called the Dirty Water News Fantasy Football Show. You can find it on iTunes as a podcast. The Dirty Water News Fantasy Football Show. Also, I want to give a shout out to Caitlin David, who is his anchor and Uncle Stav. UNCLSTAV at UNCLSTAV. He's the analyst. I guess his name is Analyst Steve, and that's his handle. So absolutely follow these guys and follow Nicholas Ogor and follow the Dirty Water News Fantasy Football Show. It's pretty awesome. These guys really know what they're talking about. So if you're trying to win a fantasy football league, and I don't know who isn't, these guys are your best bet.
And then also too, these came in later after the show was done. We had that little push last week, but
Your retweet thing?
yeah, this Alex Stein. So Alex Stein retweeted
Alex
it.
Stein, a friend of the Matt and Greg show, and now Distracted Discourse.
Yep,
we
and
got to
then-
get him back.
We do. He was a fun.
He was
He was
awesome.
a good lay. No.
He was the best.
And then Mish the Dish also as well retweeted
who
us
that is.
too. So
Mish the Dish. You know who
married-
didn't retweet us?
married to the
Dusty,
mail,
because
man.
he doesn't have Twitter.
Actually, I just signed up
Podcast.
right now.
just got
nice,
it.
good
signed
for
up.
you.
You guys, I wanna. Can we all?
He broke his cherry.
We broke Dusty Thune's Twitter cherry on air. It was wonderful.
I just watched fucking Goodfellas on Saturday again. I just
No wonder you've been quiet. You're just gotta sign up for this
to
Twitter
think.
thing. It looks like it's really good.
Everyone's having so much fun on here.
Well, what did you get? What did you pick as your
House _ Thune.
nice.
house _ Thune? You better follow him.
that as well.
Any followers he'll get, from now until whatever, we'll just assume are all from the show, so that Dusty can be thankful for being on here.
Every follower that Dusty gets, Dusty will personally give them $5.
Nope, that's not gonna
That's not going to work.
Doll hairs.
Doll hairs.
Doll
Yes.
hairs.
Yes, so that's
Solid.
good. All right, back to the bullshit. So
Back
what
to the bullshit. We were talking about the Highland Friendship
Yeah,
Club.
we're talking
Yes.
about Friendship Club in Underland.
How long you been
got
a
this.
special eds teacher as well?
I've been a special ed teacher, let's see, going on officially 8 years,
Okay.
going on 10 years. I never intended to get into special education at all. I always wanted to be a pirate.
Okay.
And I went to the U of M to become
Somali
a pirate.
pirate? No.
No, I was going to be an underwater archeologist.
This is my shit
Actual
now.
stuff, yeah. And
So awesome.
I'm the captain.
it was strange.
I am the captain now.
Yeah,
What's that guy been doing? He's been in a lot of shit, right?
No.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, we'll have to
Dusty's
figure
pop
out
filter.
figure out a way to fix those.
But what about his peas?
So,
They're going to be all up in the mic.
so my wife's a special ed teacher as well. She teaches in Wayzata. She works with not the EBD, but the other
DCD.
DCD. There you go.
ASD.
She's
Lots
been in
of
there.
acronyms.
Plus, it's been there
what
for
it gets
3
talked
years.
about.
She likes that. This year's really tough for her, though, because I guess she has a student that she requested to be switched to another classroom just because he's 90% of her time every day is focusing on him, and it's really taken away from everybody else, you know? And
That's kind of what special ed's all about right now.
yeah, it really is.
pretty
And
hard.
she, you know, and then they accepted the, moving to another class, and she was like, okay, that's great. Now I can focus on, teaching everyone else. And all of a sudden, he's back in the class again for another 2 years. So she's like, she just told me, she's like, this is going to be the most stressful fucking 2 years, and it's the student. It wouldn't be so bad, I guess. I mean, the student is kind of hard to handle, but it's the parents that are making it even fucking worse, And that's a part that's driving her completely bananas right now, is just that they're expecting so much where we don't really know. Like, she doesn't really know if we can get that much out of the student just because of where he is, like, mentally. It's really weird, and that's actually, like, she loves doing her job, and she specifically went into that field to do that job. But that's one of the things she's always complained about, or the thing that she doesn't like, is just the parents' expectations of students sometimes in that arena are just so, like she has an Indian student, for example, and they just cannot accept the fact that he has something going on mentally, and like that. And the worst one is she has a student with Down syndrome, and the mom will not admit that the student has Down syndrome. Just won't admit it. The child needs glasses. If anyone needs glasses, he needs fucking glasses. But she will not buy him glasses because she thinks if she buys him glasses, that the student may look like he has Down syndrome.
That's a very strange,
What?
strange situation there.
She just cannot admit that her child has Down syndrome, and it's just like,
like out of denial.
it's just all
space?
denial.
Okay,
It's
that's
just
too
all
bad.
denial. And
Well-
it's just a nightmare. It's just a headache.
Luckily, there are a lot of organizations out there, great advocacy groups to help parents and students and teachers even
Yeah.
to get through a lot of those hurdles. I work with severe and profound disabilities.
Okay.
So it's Federal 4 settings, so they're all contained in a classroom. We go out in the community, but we're not integrated with regular education at all.
Sure.
And we try as hard as we can to get people out all the time.
It happens every single time
that's
we're up
normal.
here.
I like the urban
Yep.
setting. But yeah, it's just crazy when you have. I've never experienced being in a general education setting and having just one or two special education students in that classroom.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be very distracting for a lot of people.
And I think she has like 10. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
that's exciting.
so she's got to commit 10% of her time to each one of the kids to equal 100. It's something else.
And it's that's one of the big hurdles of special education. You'll have all these people with very different and diverse needs, and you don't have a whole lot of support. I mean, in my situation, I have a lot of support because we're in a great setting. It's focused beyond transition services.
Okay.
It's very specialized. It's part of Bridgeview School, which is like a K through 12, and then once they graduate high school, they come to us.
Okay.
And so we have all of the best specialists in the cities all work for us. We've got great paraprofessionals that are helping with the classrooms, or ratios are two students to one teacher.
Wow.
Wow.
So I mean, it's totally different than the norm, I should say, in general.
You guys hiring?
education. We're always hiring. But it's a very different school in that you have to really love what you're doing to be there, because
Yeah.
you'd burn out within a day if you didn't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We-
Yeah, and she loves what she does like 100%. It's just the way that it's set up you know, for her, she's not in agreement.
It's tough. It's tough, and especially with the state requirements now for testing and all these people slamming their bandwagons trying to scream about teacher accountability. It's like, now you're going to put us to a test for our wages, you know, that the students can't take unless we completely adapt it to work for them.
Yeah.
In which case, you're really just grading us on how well we can adapt a test to get the same answer.
Not how well you can teach.
Right. It's really ridiculous. But that's just the world we live in. We just got to keep battling. It's tough. But
that whole thing's just kind of
imagine
fucked up.
The challenges that the students are facing are
got
to be a little less than a little more than what we're doing. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's going to school right now. She's almost done with her master's. I think her ultimate goal is she wants to get out and she wants to teach at the collegiate level, you know, just to kind of get away from the student or the teaching in the classroom aspect, you know. But that's always kind of been her goal, you know, what she wants to do with that. So, you know, hopefully she'll get into that arena because she's just completely stressed out. And it stinks because it's like, you know, come home and you have this significant other and they're just, you know, they're pissed all the time.
I could see that being so tough. I mean, I work with students as well on a different level. I coach speech at a high school. And so, you know, and I find that to be, you know, sometimes frustrating, and parents are, you know, kind of the helicopter parents always, you know, how is my child doing? You know, I mean, is he getting the best possible coaching that he could get? You know, maybe you should spend more time with my child and stuff like that. And, you know,
you should spend more time with your child.
Well, maybe you should spend more time with your child.
That's what I'm saying.
Not, I mean, but I mean, and whatever. And the nice thing is that, you know, as a speech coach, I get to choose who I work with. You know, I get to choose, you know, when they audition, I get to go, okay, I want this person, I want this person, I want this person, because I think we're going to really mesh well as far as coaching goes. You know, it's not like a football team where it's like one coach for the whole team. Like, I have my kids, and I coach them in the categories that I coach, that I like to coach, that I want to coach, and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But, I mean, I can't imagine, you know, also having to deal with, you know, but then also having to deal with the special needs. You know, that's just got to be even like another element of something, you know, on top of that you just have to constantly be aware of and constantly like mitigate, you know.
You become a kind of the Swiss Army knife of teaching.
Sure, absolutely. You just
pretty much
you've got all the
just roll
tools
with it. You know just about what's going to happen. You can start reading it before it happens. And you know, a wise person has always told me, any behavior you see is always starting with a breakdown of communication. So if someone can't communicate their wants or needs, that's when you're going to see this behavior. And that's what we need to talk to the parents about, and getting everyone under the exact same program, really.
Yeah.
A behavior program. So like with the helicopter parents, it's a little different. They're constantly, you know, hovering and trying to do all this other stuff. But what I deal with mostly is parents that just let their kid go into their room and just hang out by themselves once they get home from school until it's time to get up again in the morning.
Right.
And so if I have a really detailed behavior plan during the school day where I have communication boards and picture symbols, and we've gone through just massive undertaking of support for this kid, then they go home and do nothing. And then they get pissed off when their parent asks them to take out the garbage. And then the parent just kind of gives up and says, go back to your room, go do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Well, then they come to school and they have these massive behaviors because we're trying to make them do things.
And that's the thing, too, with like...
Weird.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, too, with, you know, like that mom I was talking about with the Down syndrome kid, you know. She literally gets him home and sets him in front of a TV until it's time to go to bed.
Ouch.
You know, and he sits there the whole time.
Right.
You know, it's just, it's fucking weird. I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, it seemed like my parents were pretty involved in my education. I don't know how old you are. I'm 33, but...
I'm 34.
34, okay.
It's a good year.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It seemed like my
parents...
parents...
are gross and old and gross. That's just the theme. I get called gay. I call him old. Like, that's just how it works around here.
But no, it seemed like when I was a kid, my parents were pretty involved. I mean, they weren't like, making, just sitting down with me every single night and doing my homework, but they cared about what I was doing.
Play some catch outside,
and they were my parents too. They weren't my friends. They were my parents,
right?
And I don't know if that's happening as
well. One of the biggest letdowns in parenting today, and I could say this across the board, is lack of nature.
Okay.
Parents are so damn worried about everything that's going on outside. They don't let their kids get outside.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things with Friendship Club that I started was Adventure Days.
Okay.
We'd go out on adventures with our friend Sir Nigel Chestworth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nigel Chestworth.
Nigel Chestworth. And actually, I was on Mall Cops a little while ago.
Okay.
Because I took my adventure crew out to the
Oh,
mall.
yeah.
And of course, as Sir Nigel Chestworth, you have to be wearing your pith helmet at all times.
Of course.
Your adventure gear with your satchel and your whip.
Of course.
And they
Your
didn't
whip?
like the whip.
They didn't
part.
like the whip.
Obviously,
I was
they
going to
like
say
the whip.
you probably got away with everything else, but when
The
it came to the
12-foot
whip,
coiled whip was a little much for mall cops, and so the writers were probably jumping on themselves, sort of saying, "Get over there, come on, let's make something up."
Yeah.
And so they came up saying, "Oh, we've got reports that you've been whipping the children.
What?
Is this true?"
What?
And I look at the guy, I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" Right? You see, this thing is zip tied to my waist. It is a prop.
yeah,
It's not.
Like, just make it look good. I'm like, you can't make it look good. You're coming up to me, and I'm the leader of a group of people with special needs, and you're telling me I'm whipping people?
Yeah. You
Like, how is this
fucking
looking
joking?
good? I was like, if you want this to be a big scene right now, just keep telling me to play with it, because we're going to have some problems.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, it's not me, it's the producers. I was thinking, like, well, I better get a cut of this show, because I know this can be in rerun forever.
yeah,
Yeah.
And sure enough, they were like, oh, I guess it's just a prop. Well, we got to let this guy go on. The kids are all nervous and scared.
Of
I was
course.
like, what have you just done? You've just totally
You
discredited our
bastard.
entire program. You better
See, that's the
give us a
thing. We were
shout
just
out.
talking about that with Tommy Ryman. We were talking about just like how much producers just suck. How much they
Yeah.
really fuck up TV. You know, just where it stops being about what the show is actually about and starts being more about how do we get more drama into
Yeah.
this situation.
How do we
Yeah.
get more money? How do we, appease more advertisers?
What
How-
angle can we hit?
Right.
Yeah.
I heard you've been whipping the children.
I know.
Jesus
If you just said, yeah, I have.
Christ.
What are you going to do about it?
No, you should have been
only
like,
way to
I
run.
haven't been whipping the children. I brought this for the mall cops, so you better
something.
fucking run.
Oh, man.
Well, hey, why don't we take a break real quick
Yeah, let's
for
take a
about
quick break.
5 minutes here.
Cinco.
And, yeah, I think...
Do a quick Cinco.
Yeah, we'll be
back.
Yeah, we'll be back shortly. So, yep, stay tuned. 5 minutes.
Sweating like nobody's.
If you could love the world with a flick of a switch, would you do it? If you could make everybody poor just so you could be rich, would you do it? If you could watch everybody work while you just lay on your back, would you do it? If you could take all the love without giving any back, would you do it? So we cannot know ourselves or what we really do. With all your power, with all your power, with all your power, what would you do? With all your power, with all your power, with all your power, what would you do? If you could make your money and then give it to everybody, would you do it? If you knew all the answers and could give it to the masses, would you do it? No, 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 no. Are you crazy? It's a very dangerous thing to do exactly what you want because you cannot know yourself or what you really do. With all your power, with all your power, with all
I didn't make it all the way through that.
All right, we're back. Back to the bullshit, as we say.
So I'm looking through these picks from last week, and I killed Tony. I did so much better than he did.
I think you did.
I destroyed Tony. Let's do some football talk. We haven't talked football, and Dusty's a football fan, so maybe we can get another opinion here. So,
Who's
Matt,
your favorite
if you
team,
wanna,
Dusty?
You a Vikings fan?
Well, I'd have to say the Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings fan.
Generic questions. All right.
I do enjoy them playing with the pigskin.
With the gridirons. They're playing the gridirons with the pigskin.
All right, so let's do our football
Yeah,
picks
let's see
for the week.
who's playing. Who's playing this week?
I gotta pull this up here.
So we'll do picks. We never really we got to go back and talk about these when we do these. I feel like we always do the picks and then we never really talk about them. Let's talk about them later.
Well, we'll talk. We'll talk about it. Well, we'll talk about these ones next week.
Well, but the ones from before. I mean, I was only wrong once. Tony just really sucked. I think he kept going for the wrong teams.
Do you have a pen?
I have.
We ready to go?
Yeah, I got it. I'm ready to go.
Do this a little bit differently here because the last time it was really fucking.
It's hard to read. All right, I got this. So Dusty equals D. Dusty is D. Matt is M. And guess what Greg is?
A douche.
A douche.
All right.
I'm just gonna draw a picture of a douche for every team that I choose. Okay.
All right. Let's see here. So we'll start off. Okay. Well, we kind of missed
first game.
We kind of missed Thursday. That was the Giants and Redskins. So we'll.
You're not gonna go Giants on that one. I'm really thinking.
Yeah, they kind of crushed them.
Well, the Giants. Yeah. So all right. We can't do that one because we already missed it.
Yep. All right. So first is Bills and Texans.
Bills and Texans. What do you think, Dusty?
Well,
I'm going to go Texans on that one.
I would say Texans.
Yeah, I'm going to go Texans as well.
All right, so all three. So I'll just do a star when it's all three.
Yep.
Okay.
Panthers and Ravens.
Panthers and Ravens. Interesting. I want to actually say Panthers on this one.
I want to go the same way. I'll go Panthers on this one.
I'm going to go Ravens just to be different.
Okay. All right.
Packers and Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
All right, Packers and Bears. You're going to go Bears? I'll go Bears, too. I think that's a good call.
I'm going to be different. I'll go Packers.
Okay.
Lions and Jets. Well, that should be an easy one, right?
I would say Lions. Although the Jets have a really good run defense, but the Lions have Megatron. They got Calvin Johnson, so I'm thinking that should be good. All right, I'm gonna go Lions on that. What do you think?
I'll go Lions as well.
Lions, all three on Lions. Got it.
Titans and Colts.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Colts.
Colts. Okay.
Just because Andrew Luck is just awesome. He's just really good.
Lucky.
I'll go Colts as well.
I'll go Lions.
Lions, okay.
No,
Titans.
Titans, sorry.
He's going to go back to
I'm
Lions.
going Lions.
Yeah, next week's match.
The Lions are totally going to win that
one. Dolphins and Raiders.
Dolphins.
Oh, jeez. I can't get Ace Ventura out of my head every time I think.
I know, same, right? To train the dolphin, you must sink like the dolphin.
Laces out.
I'm going to go, I'll go Raiders.
Oh, really? I'm going to go Dolphins.
Dolphins, okay.
Lamar Miller is going to crush it. What about you?
Raiders.
Raiders? Okay, so we got Dusty plus Matt at Raiders and Greg on Dolphins.
Buccaneers and Steelers.
Bucks and Steelers. Hey, I wonder what Mr. Shane Dolan would say.
He's going Buccaneers. No.
I'm going to go Steelers.
Yeah, I'll go Steelers.
Bucks suck this year.
All right.
Although Buccaneers, I know you like to be a pirate, though.
So I'm going pirate all the way.
He's going pirate, okay.
So Shane's involved in this one, so we're all going to force a.
That's right.
Jaguars and Chargers.
Chargers.
You got to go with Jaguars on this one.
I'll go Chargers on this one. Falcons and Vikings. I will say the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
Falcons and Vikings. I think the Falcons are going to win.
Okay. Eagles and 49ers.
Eagles.
I'm going to say 49ers.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I think they're going to be charged up.
I'm thinking. I don't care.
But I think Kaepernick will get another 15-yard.
I'll put you Eagles.
Kaepernick probably will get another 15-yard for dropping the N-bomb mid-game.
You did that?
Yeah, you got a 15-yard penalty for it.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's why it's called the 15-yarder. We're not using N-bomb anymore. Saints and Cowboys.
Ooh, that's an interesting game.
Yes. Cowboys.
I'm going to go Saints on this one, I think.
I'm going to go Cowboys as well.
Okay.
So D plus G is Cowboys, Matt is Saints, and then Monday Night Football is Kansas City and
No,
is there
yes,
more?
Kansas City and Patriots.
KC
That's
and
Monday.
Patriots.
I'm gonna go Patriots on this one.
I'm going to go Patriots, too, although Jamal Charles is back, but I'm not sure what that means
I'm
yet.
feeling
so
Patriots.
I'm feeling Patriots. We'll go all three on Patriots. All right, our
Those are
picks
the picks.
are in.
We'll review them.
Picks are in.
That almost sounded like a drum roll when. Not anymore. Now it's just annoying. Sounded like a drum roll for a minute.
So I wanted to talk about this. 2 nights ago, I went to go see Tim and Eric live.
I went and saw them 5 years ago.
You know Tim and Eric?
5 or 6 years ago. Yep, we saw
So-
them live at the theater. I can't remember which one.
State. That's where I saw
And then we
them.
went to Bootleggers afterwards.
So what'd you think? Do you like Tim and Eric?
Yes, I love the show.
They're so weird.
It was
Super
fucking-
random.
dude. We used to watch it, when they always had it on Adult Swim, or I think
Yeah,
it was
it's Adult Swim.
back in the day. We were fucking obsessed with it. Like there was some pretty
It's so
funny
ironic.
shit.
It's so
'Cause it was
ironic. The whole thing is like there was so many. It was like the biggest gathering of hipsters I'd ever seen in my life.
Because it was because Tim and Eric, I think part of the reason why it was so funny is because it was on Sundays, and it was on at like 9 on
Right.
Sundays. And we were usually like hungover. We'd sit around and eat pizza all day and watch football. you
Right.
know, and we're just like that. I think had part of it to do with it, like why it was the funniest shit. But yeah, like Casey and his brother, petite feet, all that shit.
Well,
It was-
and that's
it
the
was
thing
an
is I
awesome
had
show.
not seen any Tim and Eric at all ever
Now.
until the live show
Okay.
because I was invited for free. My friend was like, "Hey, I got a ticket. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, why not?"
Now the live show stunk.
Really?
I didn't like it at all.
I
It
thought
was-
the live show was pretty funny, but that's because they had Steve Brule there too. John
Okay.
C. Riley showed up.
Oh, really?
John
Oh,
C.
nice.
Riley was there.
Okay.
Live.
Well, that's going to make a difference then because, yeah,
he
when
was super funny.
when we went and saw the live show, I mean, it was just, the skits that they had. It's probably
at-
now, if they're bringing everyone there, it'd probably be funnier.
Look
but
up
it's just when we saw it.
on YouTube. Look up Brule's rules on genders.
Let's see if I can find it. We need to get that TV hooked up here.
Yeah. Brule's rules. No, Brule spelled Brule. Brule's rules gender. Yeah. Okay. This is so funny. Check this out, Dusty.
It's Brule's Rules with Channel 5's Dr. Steve Brule.
Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Brule. We'll focus on genders. Some people are boys, but they want to be girls. Some girls want to be boys. Just be happy with your vagina. You got it already. Don't have to make a new one. And if you got a penis, just keep on it. Cut it off.
He's like
Keep
this-
your penis.
He's just a completely inept doctor. If you got a penis, just keep on it. You don't have to cut it off.
They're the best at, like, quick cuts and making it look like it's, from the mid-'80s. They
Yeah,
are
that's
the best at that
That's
shit.
the funny thing. So throughout this whole show, so during the whole time that John C. Riley was on stage,
Yeah.
he had this wireless microphone, right? And there was this DJ, Doug, whatever his name is, Dog Pound or whatever,
Yeah.
DJ Dog Pound. And so he's sitting in the side of
Oh,
the stage
yeah.
the whole time, right?
They did that, too, when we
The
saw
DJ.
him. Yeah.
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 And so he was there, and so what he would do is every now and then, as John C. Riley was talking at completely random times, he would make like a electrocute noise, like
Yeah.
a zzz noise, and John C. Riley would go, oh, and he'd like take his mic out of his hand, like look at his hand and go, oh, and then just go back to what he was talking about. But that never led to anything. No one ever said anything about it. No one ever did it. It's just something they did throughout the entire time John C. Riley was on stage. Yeah, that's all it was. And I just kept waiting for it to come to something. I kept waiting for something to happen from it, and nothing happened, and it didn't come to anything. And I was like, this is so random but so funny.
Yeah.
After a while, I started waiting for it. I was like paying attention so hard because I was waiting for the next.
Yeah.
Because it was so weird. But here's what I actually wanted to talk about. So this I thought was a really funny, like an interesting moral situation. So at one point of the show, Dr. Stephen Brule, this very inept doctor, asks people to bring a bunch of people on stage. So there was like 8 people on stage, right? And 8 people on stage. both the right and the left side.
Okay, we get the logistics.
So
Great. All right.
he asked this one girl, very attractive young lady, probably mid-20s, to come and sit on this stool in the middle of the stage, and the other people were still on stage, and he was doing this thing called like this health test or whatever, right? And so he's asking her all these questions from a clipboard, and it's pretty funny, and he's just making jokes or whatever, and he's, as I just demonstrated with that clip, that's what his character's like.
Yeah.
Steve Brule is like this very inept doctor, whatever. Then he asked her, have you ever had a breast exam? And she says, no.
Would you like one now?
And so he says, can I give you a breast exam?
Oh, nice.
Right? And everyone laughed. And it was so funny. And she, she laughed a little bit. It was like shrugged it off, clearly embarrassed, right? And then she said, no.
Okay.
And everyone in the crowd went, boo. And in my head, right, boobs. And in my head, I'm like, I'm just wondering, like, you're in front of 10,000 people.
Yep.
You're talking to John C. Reilly.
Uh-huh.
From fucking Step Brothers, John C. Reilly, and he asks to touch your boob in a comedic fashion, and you're going to say no. And I'm just wondering, like, what's going through her head? Like,
she might have had a penis.
She could have had a penis. I'm just wondering why. Like,
probably embarrassment.
It could be, and I'm not saying whatever. It's her body. I'm not saying it's like I'm not saying hey, it's okay. It's okay for John C. Reilly to touch her boob just because he's famous and on stage.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like. If I was, let's switch the situation. I'm on stage and Kathy Griffin's doing some character, and she's like, "Have you ever gotten a testicle exam? Can I give you one now?" I don't know. I probably would have been like, "Whatever." Like, what am I really losing?
Yeah.
Like, sure, it's a little uncomfortable, but it's funny.
What if she finds something you haven't?
That's fair.
Like a lump.
Yeah.
That would really take the turn for a different angle. As all of a sudden, like, I think you have fucking cancer.
Maybe you should go get yourself checked out, Greg.
But I wonder, like, do you think that she said no because she didn't want to like come off as a hoe on stage or something?
I think she just said no out of just nervousness. Probably. I mean, that's my opinion.
And I also wonder, like, okay, so let's say she would have said yes, and I'm sure John C. Reilly probably wouldn't have made like a huge deal. He probably would have like just touched it and then like let go. I'm sure it would have been really awkward if he like went in there.
I bet he wouldn't even have done anything.
You don't think so?
No, I bet you if she would have said yes, he would have been like. Just made some shit up. I don't even think he would have because
I think he'd go with the whole bear thing. He'd just come up and rip her shirt off.
Yeah,
lay him out.
I don't know. I think,
but why is it? But my question is, why is it so wrong? Like, I mean, why is it so wrong in the sense that like it's for comedy?
Yeah.
Like, there's clearly no. I mean, it seemed like there's no real sexual. I mean, John C. Reilly's like a 50-year-old man, not all that attractive. Like, there's no like clear sexual like. Mm-hmm. There was no sexuality implied. Like maybe there might be something between them sometime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just doing it as a joke in a different character. So I wonder what's to lose for her. And
probably nothing, but she might just be embarrassed.
That's possible, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm not making any judgments call. I'm just curious. Like in my head, I'm like, that's a really interesting morality situation. Like, what would make you say no, and what would make you say yes? I guess it's a lot of people. It's kind of weird,
I mean, when I'm on stage, I like to stuff, a little bit with my scock.
Right.
If someone went for it, you'd be like,
you got a really soft cock.
Well, they're just
your cock feels knit.
Maybe she's got a lot of Kleenex in there.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Perhaps.
Padded bra.
Perhaps it's and John C. Reilly would have totally outed her.
Newly finished breast implants.
She doesn't even have boobs.
Didn't want to disturb the scars.
Vagina.
Just got out of.
Just be happy with your vagina. Don't make a new one. You already got it. And if you got a penis, keep on it.
I think she was just probably embarrassed.
Probably. That's probably true. And just in my head, I was like, man. Like everyone wanted to see him do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
In the audience,
to see your tits. That's why.
Well, he wasn't going to take off her shirt.
Well,
I'm pretty
that's
sure
what I
he
would
was.
Assume he was going to do it.
We could all dream.
God, that would be really uncomfortable though. If like she said yes and he like really went for it. I mean, two hands like.
Well, can you imagine being her? I don't think I would say yes. I think I would say.
It'd be a tough one.
You'd probably say no.
I'd want to reverse the roles a little bit, like me first.
Well, can I touch your dick?
Right. Well, just his boobs.
Well, I don't think John C. Reilly would mind that very much.
No, see, that would be funny then.
That's true. I wonder what it would.
Give and take.
Yeah, I mean, but I think John C. Reilly is smart enough to know that you get. Like you would, if he had done it, he would have had to done it like funny, like with a finger, something like that.
I mean,
you can't just go and grope her, and like the whole audience is like, "Whoa, what the hell?"
You have a fucking lawsuit on your hands,
right? Well, if she said yes,
that's why I think. Well, yeah, but that's why I think even if she did say yes, he wouldn't have done anything.
That's true
because it's like you never know.
Either way,
I was so drunk.
It was a really crazy show. I mean, like just a lot of like they. they were just, and I'm sure I don't know if you, so that they did this one bit where they both came out as like priests of this church, and they worshipped a guy named Rang Dipkin. And it was just this fat guy. They just had this picture of this really fat guy in his 40s, and they kept saying like, now everyone hold your hands up high and saying, Rang will forgive you. Praise be to Rang, and stuff like that. And then they would do these things called emergency Hosannifications, and they'd be like, praise Hosanna. It was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I don't really remember too much of it. I mean, yeah, it was probably 5 or 6 years ago. The one thing I do remember is the guy that was like with us was really fucking hammered. And like we went to the bar afterwards, and he just took off. Like that's what I remember from it. Meeting some coworkers.
You know what I found out though? I found out that the way that Tim and Eric got discovered is they sent a CD-ROM of all of their like videos to Bob Odenkirk, who plays Saul in Breaking Bad. They sent their CD-ROM to Bob Odenkirk. And with the CD-ROM, they sent him a bill for how much it cost them to make the CD-ROM, and they expected him to pay it. And apparently, Bob said that's what did it for him.
What got it?
Yeah, because he probably got the CD and he was like, "The fuck is this?" And then he saw the bill, and he must have been like, "The balls on these guys to send me a bill for the." And I'm sure it was like what, $5-7, whatever it may have been. I think that's super clever. I mean, just like not even clever, but just like the balls you got to have to do that.
Yeah.
I've seen them in a couple other things too that aren't Tim and Eric related. You know,
you've seen Tim and Eric in other things.
In other things, yeah.
Oh,
and they're actually really good actors. There was one.
Are they? They're not bad singers too.
No, there was one where Tim was in a movie called The Comedy, where he's like a stand-up comedian. Okay. It's like a drama.
Oh,
and it was that was a good movie. He was a really good actor.
Sure.
It was surprising.
Oh,
sure. He was in that. But
oh, sure.
I think Eric's been in a couple other things too. I can't really remember. I'm out of it today.
You're just hungover.
Just out of it.
Dude, I feel like, so I went and I listened to the show from last week, and I mean, I thought it was super funny, but we got to stop talking about naked celebrities on the air.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I was just sitting there. I mean, I'm like laying there listening to this podcast, and all I hear is just three dudes going, "Oh yeah, that was kind of hot."
Click,
what about this one?
Click.
Yeah, it was just like,
well,
and then you said something like, you were like, "Yeah, there was this one girl, and oh, it's such a bummer they took it down because she was super hot," and you were just like reminiscing or like lamenting the fact
it was the Jenny McCarthy picks.
Yeah, and then Tony was all like, "I don't want to."
Jenny McCarthy,
dude, I don't give a shit what. She's probably in her 40s right now, but I mean that was the best back in the day, Jenny McCarthy, and that was great. And she had pictures of herself getting fucked, and they took them down.
It was just so it's just so funny to listen to you guys. And then at one point you said something about how, well, I just don't have pussy thrown at me.
Yeah.
But I really missed a lot of you guys had some really deep shit going on last week, and I missed all that.
We covered a lot of area.
I don't know if I'm happy or sad that I missed it, because we kind of because you guys talked about like first times and like cheating situations, and I'm like, shit, man, that's super personal stuff. We really really unloading on the audience there.
Yeah, for some reason Thursday night shows usually have a lot more energy. Sundays are usually like pretty late.
Well, I don't think it's so much energy as this. Thursday night shows are always like they're always more random. Like there's like more shit happens. I feel like Sunday morning we're just kind of like down to business. Let's interview some guests. Let's get through the football picks.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a super fun. It's so weird to listen to a show that you're supposed to be on,
that you're not on,
and then you guys spent some time making fun of me for a little bit. And wait, so you said you found a trailer for Red Ice?
Yeah, I watched the Vimeo.
How?
One. It was up there
on Vimeo. It's supposed to be password protected. You're not supposed to be able to watch it.
I watched it, unless that was a fan made or an unofficial trailer, but that's what it looked like.
It actually was made. It wasn't made by the director. It was actually made. It was actually made by a.
The day you talked about it.
No, yeah.
I went home that day and I found it like instantly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was made by an intern.
Okay.
It was made by an intern.
And he's fired. She posted it.
No, it was made by an intern. Well, not an intern. She was just like doing some sort of like thing for school. She was like getting her intern hours in, and then she had to make so she got some footage from us, and then she made like a like a little thing, but it's not an official trailer, which is why Steve doesn't want it to get out. The director, Steve, doesn't want it to get out because it's not an official trailer, and he doesn't want people to judge the movie based on something he didn't make, Which makes sense.
Well, I tried to look for it last Thursday just to show everyone again, and it's not on there. So I
still have the link to it.
It came up right away the first time that I looked for it.
Sure.
So it wasn't bad. What things do you have going forward, Dusty, as far as do you have anything? I know you're working on the season 2 of this. Do you have any other things
season
in the
3
works?
now, right?
Season 3?
Season 3,
yeah. I was going to say, so do you write it? Do you write the Underland scripts alone, or do you write it with someone, Ryan, maybe?
We started the original concept with Ryan, but I took it from the very beginning, just rolling it right through and writing it out. I took some writing classes this year at IFP, Independent Film Projects, Minnesota.
How was that?
And,
did you find those useful?
Awesome. Very, very useful. Yeah, I worked under David Grant, who's an exceptional writer. And I moved from my writing style of just kind of flow of thought and dreamlike sequences to actually having somewhat of a plot.
Those are useful for movies, I feel.
Yeah. Got to feel a lot more what was going on, and it made a lot more sense for people. We had to explain a lot last time. What I thought was pretty clear wasn't very clear, I guess. So.
Sure, that's super interesting. I want to try to do that actually because I'm trying to do some writing right now, and I feel like I have a pretty good. I've written scripts before, but screenplay format's so specific,
It is extremely
specific, and there's so many rules to it.
And I had a really hard time with that because I'm not just the director and writer. I'm also the storyboarder,
right?
The costumer.
It's a lot of hats
one of
to
the
wear.
Character yeah, it's so many hats. And so then when I'm making the shooting script, it's also having all the editing notes and the storyboarding notes and the camera notes and the director notes.
It's
and
so
it's
much.
like this packed like page, and everyone's looking at it like, I don't know where to read.
Right.
Is this an action or is this a
right?
I don't know what's going.
Well, and that's what McKaylee always preaches because he's kind of our resident. He went to film school for a little bit, but he also just studied up, and so he knows how to do that. Like he knows how to write scripts well. He knows how to line them because you got to have like line scripts sometimes, and he knows how to make the shot schedules and all that stuff. And like, man, sometimes I'm just like, dude, I got a script, I just want to fucking shoot it. Like, I got this thing, it's written down. What do you want from me? He's like, well, you got to make some, you got to write all this stuff, and you got to, and so I'm like, God damn it,
it's
dude.
a lot of fucking.
It's
work.
So much work, and like, I wish it was easier. I wish I could just get.
Well, the only way to do it is just to do it. You
right.
have to
you
just
have
get out
to
there
do
and
it.
start filming it.
There's
and
just no.
Once you get on set and you notice all these huge gaping holes of things that you forgot to do in your script, you're like, oh yeah, that's important. That's why. Okay,
right.
I'm understanding.
That's why. Yeah,
and
because
just going to film
shooting,
school doesn't do a goddamn thing for you. I mean,
no.
I had people in my film class that had been in every class that IFP had offered. They'd been to different film schools, and when I'd talk about actually shooting on set, they all just looked at me with these deer eyes
because they'd never done it.
They'd never done it.
Right.
They'd been in class. They knew how to do it per se.
Right.
And they'd
but
say,
not
like,
really do it.
Well, I don't really need to write out my script right now for homework because it's all in my head. It's the same as shooting it. And it's like, not really.
No.
This is like my 7th revision today, and it'll be different tonight.
Right.
Once you get on set, it's totally.
I struggle with that. I really struggle with revisions sometimes. Like as a writer, I find that like I get so married to the first draft that like and the concepts in the first draft. Because when I write, I have a vision. Like in my head, I know exactly what I want it to look like, and then it's just a matter of putting it down on paper.
Exactly.
But like sometimes I feel like when revisions are so hard for me because it's so hard for me to say goodbye to certain things that I put in there initially, or even add other things that weren't in there that now I think might be better. It's just a hard process. So I'm like, that's something that I'm working right now to get over that.
When I first moved to the cities 7 years ago, I had an idea. I'm like, all right, and this is myself and Jason that had this idea. We're like, we're gonna write a movie. I mean, that's what we want to do is write a script. So we started to write it. Probably only got like 2 pages into it, not very far at all. Well, that's the thing though. I wasn't using the proper like writing for it. So I mean, 2 pages was like 2 fucking.
You're just writing paragraphs.
Well, no, I mean it had line, and this person says this, and but it wasn't like a real way you're supposed to write a script. It was just an idea, and then we never really followed up with that. But then I just wanted to write like a book, as well, but I knew there was probably no way to get it like published, But I'm like, I'm just gonna write a book.
No, man, it's super easy. J.K. Rowling had all her books published.
I know, I'm just kidding. So I wrote a book. Well, not a book. I probably wrote, I don't know, probably 75 pages of a book, and that was 7 years ago. I never went back.
Thomas.
I never went back to
The
look at it.
romance memoirs.
Once upon a time.
About a month ago, I went back and read both, and I'm like, these are the worst fucking things. Like when I'm writing it, I'm like, I'm a goddamn genius. This is just perfect. And I went back and wrote it.
That day. I remember that
it
so
is
clearly.
bad. and they're all real. They're real stories. All my book was just stories from my life, starting at like.
Yeah, but you're like every comic who thinks like, "Hey, man, I'm so funny because funny shit happens to me. I'm gonna go on stage and tell these funny stories."
They weren't even like really funny. They were just true stories that like happened. Like the time. Here's a real quick one. The time in 7th grade where I really liked this girl in 7th grade, and she's like, "Hey, a bunch of our friends and we're gonna go out and we're gonna go see a movie. Meet us there at 7 p.m. And whatever." And, I showed up, and they fucking played a joke on me, and they went to a different movie. So I sat in the back of a movie theater by myself, and I came out of the movie theater, and all 10 of them were standing there just pointing and laughing at me. That was a horrible fucking thing that happened in my life.
The crazy thing about that, it's a good story.
It's a good story.
But
though.
how do you show it?
Exactly.
Not only that, but who gives a shit is the real.
Exactly.
Like,
well,
I mean,
you have to tie it into a bigger.
Yeah,
thing.
in the end, who gives a shit? Like I'm not saying like I don't care because that's an interesting story and it is kind of like something. But like in the end, who gives a shit? Like I just watched. Have you ever seen Dear Zachary, the documentary Dear Zachary?
No, I've heard of it, and I heard it's really good.
It's interesting. It is good. It's pretty heart wrenching, especially at the end. It's very much. I mean, it's about a custody battle.
God damn it!
It's about a custody battle between these divorced parents or whatever and this child. And the movie is actually like that's why it's called Dear Zachary. It's technically for the kid. It's for Zachary, right? Well. So the story is heartbreaking. It's crazy, and at the end of the story, I'm sitting there going, "Man, these people really suffered through a lot of shit, right?" But then I really step back and I go, "What do I care? Like, it's like a family. Like, what's the big implication? Like, why did I sit and spend an hour and a half watching a story about this family? What's the real like?" What's the message to me? Like, what's the theme?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah,
you can apply that to anything. Though.
I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I guess for me, I guess I like when there's something that I could take away from it. That's either
substance.
Like, something like that. Or just like maybe their theme was, hey, custody battles can be really shitty sometimes, and that's something. I guess maybe I was just not like seeing that part of it. But
well, yeah.
In the end, I was like, it's just a family. Like it's some family that's like lives here and they had a problem. Like a lot of families have problems.
Yeah.
If we made documentaries about every family that had a problem, we'd have like a gajillion documentaries.
You can apply that to anything, though, if you think about it. I mean, think about it. ISIS is lopping people's heads off, but how does that directly affect me? Do I give it, should I give a shit?
Well, I think people's heads getting cut off in other countries is always kind of a bad thing.
No, it's a horrible thing, but, you pose the question
but it's that's not a contained,
should I give a shit?
That's not a contained problem. I mean, ISIS is not like a contained thing that could affect the whole country if they decide to cut a lot of people's heads off.
Yeah.
Whereas this custody battle is not really going to...
And I think the bigger picture with ISIS is the media's handling of the whole situation, too. Are you showing it? Are you talking about it? Is that giving them more play on what they're trying to spread?
They're not fucking, they're...
So you told me that they have a publicist?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're
ISIS
multi-million-dollar media outlet. I mean, they are totally
by
together.
far. Because you look at it, they're not stupid. They know how to get their message out. And here's why. Here's a perfect example. The whole, the first beheading video of the journalist, they specifically edited that video to not show the actual beheading.
Implied, yeah.
They just showed the implied so they could get it on YouTube. Quit putzing with everything.
Well, also, there's a whole lot of disclaimer ones, or not disclaimer ones, where people were challenging the video to say it was a fake.
Oh, yeah.
The theorists out there. And so just that gave a whole new, genre of people that are going to be watching this, trying to figure out if it's real or not.
Yeah, but welcome to everything. I mean, everyone thinks that everything is fake. I mean, the false flag attack stuff, where like, the 9/11 conspiracy theorists that would say that like, we did that to ourselves just to give us an enemy, that whole
And
thing.
those same people they're so fucking pissed off about the latte salute from Obama, which just makes me laugh because Bush had a fucking Scotty dog in his hand and saluted with that once, and it's like,
And I was talking to my
darn.
dad about that last night too. You know, they're not required to give a salute.
No, they should be happy. I mean, if it was Starbucks or something.
Right.
But like the president isn't actually required, even though they're considered the commander in chief. It's not an actual military position.
No.
Even though they can control what the generals do, so
Right.
they're not technically required to even give a salute.
Well, who would they salute? They're the top guy in the army.
They salute them, and he gives a salute back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. But he doesn't have to do that because he's like the captain. If you salute a captain, he can be like, fuck you.
Yeah, he doesn't have to salute
Yeah.
anyone because it's the highest ranking.
I don't have to do anything.
Position in the military. But,
right.
What was in his left hand?
I think his cell phone.
Oh, well, saluting with a BlackBerry, which is weird.
Saluted with old
What
technology.
phone does he have, I wonder? What phone does Obama
They always
have?
said he was completely attached to his BlackBerry.
BlackBerry?
Yeah.
Who has a BlackBerry
I don't
anymore?
know.
But then
Presidents?
didn't they make him get rid of it right away when he got
Maybe.
into office?
Yeah,
just
they gave him a
because he
different
was-
one, but he kept sneaking it.
Yeah.
Crackberry.
Crackberry. Dude, no one's got Blackberries anymore. RIM is just, it's either Android or iPhone. I wonder which side of
the BlackBerry just came out with a new phone though.
I'm assuming that they have to like give the president a special phone, right? Because
I'm
like
guessing.
it's got, there's no way he can just go and buy an iPhone.
Could you
6.
imagine the security features on that thing?
They have to. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's just a little 4-digit code.
I wonder if they armor it all. I mean, the new iPhones. What are they bending a lot?
They are.
You don't want your president to bend.
No,
flex, but not bend.
No, yeah.
So, maybe you get a stronger backbone on the iPhone 6.
I was at a
Presidential
Steel.
edition. Yeah.
Just there's like steel girders on it.
I was at that bonfire last night, and
It's heavy as fuck.
we were talking about the iPhone 6 or whatever, and the guy that I was talking to was he got like really emotional about it. I'm like, yeah, but I see that they bend, and he's like, well, they're not bending when they're in the pockets. These people are obviously pulling them out of the pocket, bending them just where
Or they stick them
just
in
where
their
the
back
button
pocket
is.
where they've always put their
Yeah.
iPhone, and then
Right.
they sit down, and they're
It's
like,
no,
oh, look at this
they're
ass-shaped
doing
iPhone.
They're doing it
Special
intentionally.
edition.
Like he got like really like into it.
I've heard.
Doing it intentional, man. It's all bullshit.
I read a story about
Take it
that.
easy.
Very
It's a phone.
personal. Very personal.
I read a story about that, and this guy had claimed that he had an iPhone 6 Plus, which is the 5.5, the bigger version of it,
Yeah.
and he like had it in his front pocket actually. And he said that he had it in there. He's like, I took a flight. Then after a flight, I was in a car. And then I was in a meeting. And then this thing and this thing. He said he didn't take his phone out for 18 hours. And it bent. And I'm
Bullshit.
like, dude,
That's
18 hours?
bullshit.
No one's contacting you in 18
Yeah,
hours.
it's
Why do you
ridiculous.
even, why do you even have a fucking phone then?
My mom has a flip phone, and she checks it more. My mom is the most technologically inept person on the face of the earth, and she checks her phone at least once in 18 hours.
I can't imagine. And so I'm like, first of all, dude.
That's a lie.
Yeah,
First of
that's
all,
horseshit.
I don't know why I was in there for 18 hours. Second of all, don't be a fucking idiot. Put it in a pocket like where it's more comfortable. Like if you feel like it's crunching on the phone, just move it. Like
Yeah.
I think that's just Apple telling us to like be more fit.
Yeah.
I think is what
Yeah.
it was.
With the head,
what he's
with the
saying.
generation, the fucking head down generation that we all lived in, he checked his phone
Had to
20
have.
times.
Had
in 18
to
hours.
have.
At a
He would have had to
minimum.
recharge it anyway. I mean, if it's an iPhone, it's 18
Yeah.
hours.
18 hours?
That's-
Well,
that's
yeah.
far too long.
If you put pressure on anything for 18 hours, it's gonna bend.
The
I think.
the bonfire last night. This may be not funny to anyone else, but
Might curve a little to the left.
It already is a little curved to the left.
I don't think I've laughed as hard as I did last night in probably 5 years.
this is
So the bonfire.
Oh, you got that
Translate.
text of me naked then?
Yes.
Yeah, I got that too. Except I didn't think it was funny.
I replied,
No,
that's it.
Is that the tear? I was trying to figure what that was.
We were at the bonfire, and it happened to be the guy. Again, really nice guy. My wife knows him better than I do, but
Does she?
he's just a little different. But he's actually a higher up at Target in St. Cloud, and he owns a double wide trailer in a trailer park, and
Damn right he does.
he just is stingy with his money.
Of course. So Jewish.
Collins, I don't think that's Jewish.
Collinsburg.
Collinsburg.
Yes.
Collinsburg
So
Baumstein.
he lives in this like
Wits.
double wide trailer, which is like you walk in there, it's just technology it's stacked to the nines in this fucking trailer. He drives like a Cadillac.
Do you have an address for this
CRX? Yeah, he drives
Does
like
he
a
lock it?
Cadillac. It's craziness what's going on over there. But he's just kind of a weird. He's really fucking funny, but he's just a little different. And then all of a sudden last night we're sitting around the bonfire and he goes, "Oh, I never showed you my my buddy," and he's talking, he just says that to everyone.
It's Prince Albert.
He goes back to his shed and he pulls out a fucking ventriloquism doll.
No.
God.
I lost my goddamn mind. I was laughing so fucking, and the fucking mouth mechanism was broken. So he was trying to like ventriloquism with his hand and shit. Like I said, it might not be funny to you.
Can he
guys,
actually do the thing? Can he talk without moving his lips?
But the fact that he just pulled out a fucking ventriloquism doll, I lost it. I was crying. I was laughing. I looked at my wife. She's got mascara running down her face because she's crying, laughing.
Who's still doing ventriloquism?
Well, here's the thing: is I asked him. I said, "How long have you had this thing?" And he goes, I just got it like 2 years ago. That made it even funnier because it wasn't like his dad passed it down.
Right.
This thing's been in there. The fact is the guy's 44 years old, and at 42 years old, he just goes, I'm going to go get a ventriloquism doll and see if I could do this for a little bit. It was the funniest fucking
I always
thing.
love when I'm driving and listening to XM radio on like Raw Dog or whatever, and they'll play Jeff Dunham. Like, there's nothing like listening to ventriloquist acts on the radio.
Yeah.
It really defeats the purpose of anything.
Can you see my lips moving?
Yeah, no shit.
I'm really good.
He could just stand there.
Dusty's not even moving his lips right now. I don't know
No.
how he's talking. I'm like, Dusty's been silent the whole time.
Say
It really
all
is
of
not.
my syllables. And
I can't even tell what he's doing.
No.
Should
Straight
we wrap
face.
it up?
I think so. I think
Let's
it's about
wrap it up.
time.
I think we got all the stuff we needed. So everyone, Dusty is now on Twitter. Woo! On Twitter,
Yeah.
he is at house_of_Thune, THUNE, Thune. And I'm on Twitter at Berman Comedy, and Matt is whatever the fuck he is. What are you, Matt?
Just Matt.Thomas. I can't get my start.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to make this announcement. I'm going to be releasing my website either tonight or tomorrow. I mean, it's already like technically up, but I'm still just putting a couple finishing touches on it. There's
Are you
some stuff
including
that's
the
missing.
celebrity nudes?
There will be a few celebrity nudes, mostly of Dusty.
Greg gets a lawsuit sent to him right after
Mostly
the
of
site
Dusty.
Mostly of me, yes.
Yeah. And so I'm going to be including, so there's going to be a bunch of stuff. And this podcast will actually be, the video version of this podcast will actually be on my website. So you can go ahead and if you can't catch the Ustream, you can just go to my website, gregberman.com, and you can check out all of these podcasts on YouTube on my website. They're embedded.
And
You can
for some
download
reason,
them.
if you want to go to our YouTube channel, you can too. It's Distracted Discourse. Every one of our episodes is
will be on there.
up on YouTube as well. And then if you're
iTunes.
listening live and you missed any of this, or you want to download old episodes, you can go to iTunes. It's Distracted Discourse on iTunes. As much as I don't like asking for favors, if you do like it, you can rate it and
Please rate it. Rate and
always-
review it.
that
It
always
takes
helps.
2 seconds. It's super nice to have some reviews, and it just makes people. I mean, the thing about this show is that we really want to do it. We don't get anything out of it. We just put time into this and get nothing out of it. But
We're trying to get something out of it,
right? If
but-
we know that people like it, and we know that people are listening, and we know that like people are enjoying our content. And the best way to do that is by rating it and reviewing it, so that we can keep doing this and keep stay excited about it and keep coming up with new shit for you guys, just to entertain, because that's all we want.
And I think we're planning on coming back. What, we're going to do this Thursday again at 8?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I can see if I can try to get the Brawler in on Thursday. But then I also have a couple of other guests that are in the running that I've been chatting with that I think we can get, and I think they'll be really cool.
Let me do some plugs here for myself here.
Yes.
So if you're on Facebook at all, if you still do that sort of thing, look up House of Thune.
I'm on MySpace.
House of Thune. Also, Underland Movie. And I was just going to plug the film project a little bit here. Underland isn't just a film project. It's a movement, an experience, possibly even a paradigm shift for those open to its message. In a break from the Hollywood norm, Underland is filmed with all the character roles filled with people with disabilities. Its screenplay was developed around each character's individual characteristics, likes, dislikes, and mannerisms. Underland is an all-original film series, developed as a voice to spread awareness about topics and taboos facing the world of people with disabilities over the last 100 years, as well as a vehicle to fulfill the ever-expanding need for services and programs that teach job skills, self-advocacy, social skills, and the arts. The stories reveal the life challenges and experiences of the cast and crew as they navigate life in a chaotic world.
Nice.
Awesome. That was
my movie phone voice.
Oh my god, that was so good. I think you should contact More Creative and see if they'll get you some voiceover gigs. That should be are you with them already?
I am
do any
not.
acting?
No, I only do voiceovers in my shower.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really good stuff, man. there's some money in that voice. I can tell you that.
We appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks for coming, Dusty. Yeah, super
Sorry,
cool.
we started a little bit
We'll
late,
all take a picture in these awesome helmets, and we'll post that on. I'll post it on Facebook. Dusty will post it, and whatever. Everyone will post all.
On my new Twitter feed.
On his new Twitter feed.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Well, thank you very much, folks.
Yep.
We'll be back. Enjoy your
back,
game. Enjoy your football today, and then we'll talk about our picks later.
Yep, that'll be
until next time.
I think next, yes, next Thursday. So, all right, perfect. Thanks again for tuning in.